Yeah, we don't know what the fuck I don't know what I'm talking about.
And don't tune into this show. Do not tune into the show for advice on all of your political stuff. Just tune in for a couple of opinions from a few regular fucking American citizens. A little variety here, you know? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the WAB. I hope you brought your masks, otherwise you won't be allowed in. And let's get into it. We're not here to pander, okay? We're here to lead. You ever watch, I watched an interview. I didn't watch it, it just came up yesterday with that dumbass Logan Paul. And I was like, wow, this is maybe the only time I've ever heard this guy talk like a normal human being. He's a fake ass person, bro. But when you hear him talk like a normal human being, I was like, oh, okay, so he's not this. He just knows that's what makes money. He's like, I'm a buccaneer.
That makes sense.
And it's like, what the fuck is that? It's like, I'm not the guy that goes and like paves the way. You know, I'm not the guy that entrepreneur who like invented this thing, who came up with this thing that's working. He's like, I see those guys when it starts. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's working, but I could probably do that better. So I'm just, you know, pretty much, I'm just the buccaneer. I'm just coming in where the entrepreneur's already rolled in, and I'm just doing the same thing, but better, you know? And then if I see, he's like, I saw TikTok. He's like, yeah, these are pretty good, but I could probably do it better with better lighting and better audio, you know? So it's pretty much like, he doesn't come up with any of his shit at all. He just sees what's going on, what's working, what the highest viewed things are, and then he replicates it. And that's pandering, where yes, it'll work, but everyone will hate you because nobody respects you. You're a fake ass person, you know? It's like a Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know?
Yeah, and then he can't come out now.
And pay, but no, you don't get no love, really. You gotta move if people find out where you live, like.
Right.
Yeah, did you see that interview with Trick Daddy and 50 Cent? He is a freaking savage. Love this guy.
I didn't see the 50 Cent shit.
So the question was to ask 50 Cent, yo, do you think Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know, he snitched and everything, do you think he'll still be successful? And the interviewer was expecting, nah, man, he's dripping from the hood, you know, from the hood rules, you know, he's not gonna be successful. 50 Cent goes, yeah, I think he'll be successful. Let me tell you why. And he goes off.
I can imagine, I can believe it, I can see it.
Yeah, real G analysis, yo. And I realized that's how this world goes.
But was it 50 analyzing why he'll be successful? I totally I can understand and see that. Is it 50 defending him? No, I don't believe. Right.
He's just answering the question. Why do you think he'll be successful? And he's like.
But everybody loves to see 50 answer stuff because it's like, oh, how does 50 feel about it? What would 50 have done there? But that's not what it is. It's more him just explaining he'll be successful still.
Yes, pretty much. It's him explaining it like analytical, not.
Okay. It's him breaking down the business side, not the politics side.
Yeah, because people think in the street, it's like, oh, you know, like, oh, he snitched. No one's gonna have any love and everything like that. He's like, you don't care about you hood people. You don't even buy his CDs. He don't care about you guys. He cares about the Midwest guy. He cares about that drifter kid that's watching. He cares about those guys because he's giving them a glimpse into the gangster life, and those guys can relate because they have no other relations to the hood world, and he's gonna win. And guess what? The system's built that way, you know. And that's why 50 Cent makes these crazy movies and crazy gangster stuff. He said in the song Hustler Ambition before, he's like, America loves this gangster shit. I'm like, yes, they do.
That's a fact.
It don't matter that you're a snitch in this respect, you know? Money don't care that you're a snitch. Money don't stop his views. Money don't stop that.
It's
Season 2 is when we get back in the lab.
PPE season! What's good, boys?
Damn, I really can't hear you too well through that.
Yeah, that really muffles the fuck out of your voice.
I know, you should see me try to order backwards at the store. I'm like...
I think he wants a sandwich. Make him a sandwich.
Yeah, this shit is weird. I gotta take this off. Sweating in this thing after like 30 seconds. Jesus Christ. Woo!
Oh, dude, you know what I found on fucking Disney Plus last night? Flight of the Navigator. And Lisette just told me it was on Netflix for a little while back.
What is that?
What?
Light
Yo, it's only
of the
one of the staples of my early childhood, bro. It's this kid who somehow falls into a time. I don't know what happens. He goes to pick up his little brother. His little brother scares him, and then he falls in the woods for what felt like maybe a few minutes. But it turns out that he traveled through time 8 years. So like for 8 years he was missing. He goes to his house. His family's on his house. It's like some old people. He's like, "What's going on?" He goes to the cops. Cops find some information like, "Oh, fucking 8 years ago, this kid's been missing." They contact the parents. The parents and the younger brother are already aged. Everybody's freaking out. Nobody knows what's going on. He essentially escapes and goes to this, what looks like a spaceship, and then it's fucking crazy from there. It's one of my favorite movies growing up.
It's a movie. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
It
was cool.
Sounds intense.
It does sound intense.
Now I need to know.
Like amazing graphics for like 1986, bro.
Tell us. Now you have to tell us the plot. Why they?
So here's the thing. I don't remember the movie, and like
tobacco.
I passed out like midway through the movie
because
I was exhausted last night. Tobacco dabs?
Tobacco dabs.
Tobacco, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude. So now that we're talking about tobacco dabs, I was trying to do some research, trying to get my dad to quit cigarettes, trying to find different ways, and like I'm into the whole like vaping weed and shit.
Electroshock therapy.
Yes.
Delaware.
So do you guys know what snus is?
The chewing thing?
It's not really chewing tobacco. It's similar. It's like it's in a pouch, and you still put it in your lip, but instead of having all like this like loose tobacco in your mouth, it's just all in a pouch. So that way, when you're done, you just have this one thing to throw away.
Yeah, that's what it is now. All those skulls and it looks like a tea bag, and you just put it in the back.
Yeah. It's like a small tea bag of fucking chew, essentially.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So I saw this guy. He literally put one of those in like an e-cigarette, and he was atomizing that. So I was trying to figure that out for my dad.
That sounds bad.
Never really got around to it.
Don't get your dad. That's gonna be worse.
Well, dude, this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, nah.
I'm not doing that. This was like 10 years ago.
You know what you get him? You get him a nice cold turkey sandwich, okay?
Yeah, that's...
You can go down to the Man Deli. They got these cold turkey sandwiches, okay? They serve them up open-faced.
My dad don't like cold turkey sandwiches.
You gotta roll your dad enough J's that whenever he wants to smoke...
Dude.
Okay.
My dad doesn't like smoking J's, man.
Yeah, I can't even imagine your dad, like, getting all stoned
He's done it a couple of times. It's not his thing. He doesn't enjoy it. It kind of just like makes him tired and sad and shit. So, but he gave it a shot, and I appreciate that. It's his birthday today, by the way. It's my dad's birthday, bro.
Oh, nice.
JB, you gotta call my dad and tell him happy birthday.
I definitely will. I already saw him the other day. We dropped by and brought him a couple of early birthday gifts.
Oh, nice.
We picked up like a bonsai tree or two for him to try to start making like a little
cool.
bonsai.
Oh yeah, he's been really into that shit.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. We were out looking at the stuff to get for him, and I'm about to make myself a little bonsai forest too, cause that shit is
dude. You should.
Cool.
A friend of mine gave me some bonsai seeds, and so I gave those to my dad. My dad has a few. I'll grab a couple of those. I'll give them to you if you want to learn how to fucking plant bonsai seeds.
Dude, I'm definitely gonna start trying to learn how to get that going. I feel like that would be like the dopest little thing to have in the crib.
Oh yeah, and that's like you gotta check it every day. You gotta make sure like every day, just like this is part of my routine. This is what I do to.
I always loved
become one with.
I always loved the whole bonsai look with that sand garden.
Yeah.
And I saw some guy do it. If you can't do sand because it's windy or whatever, you could use little rocks. Same thing. It's pretty dope.
Oh, like pebbles.
Very fine rocks.
You can rake that. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a pretty cool thing.
Dude, I was watching videos on bonsai trees, and it's really cool how like the way they get those trees to have those shapes is like they as the tree's growing, they put like wire around it, and they make the tree grow like in a particular direction, and that's how it grows in that shape. And then because like what's cool is that you can make any plant do that. Like any plant that becomes a tree, you can really you can mold it essentially. Like I've seen people make chairs out of growing trees. They just when it starts to grow, they start to make sure it forms in a particular direction. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that chair is probably worth a lot because it took like 3 years for it to be grown that exact way. One of a kind.
And it's crazy because it's a living chair that's in the ground.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Shit like that is like Al says, like that takes so long. Like just seeing how they grow like the bonsais from seedlings, some of them, and then you see where they get to a point. It's like, all right, this dude's been taking care of it for probably 20 to 30 years. And all it's done is like, gone from the seed to a small, thin, maybe 3 branch having little thing, no leaves, Yeah.
Well, actually, they groom it. They groom it to keep the branches minimum.
It's almost like one of those things that you can, you have to, if you don't pick a certain type of tree to work with that grows fast enough, most of them are like something you'd have to pass down to like your kid to continue taking care of. Like you almost can't, the tree's gonna outlive you. So it's like, you aren't gonna be able to be there to get to this, like when this tree really gets to the part of like, oh, like one of those videos, like, you see a competition. Like, nah, that was like probably handed down to him from someone else, Yeah.
That's what's so cool about that. That's what's so cool about trees, man. It's like, oh, this is a family heirloom in the form of something in your backyard.
Word, it's so cool.
You have that tree for Ernest has Halloween.
That's my dad's name.
You guys watch those shows back in the day, Ernest? Yeah.
The movies? I remember Ernest Scared Stupid, which was awful.
Ernest goes to jail.
Ernest goes to jail.
There was a lot.
Oh, what a ridiculous character, bro.
He was such a good guy, but also such like he was like what? He was cursed by clumsiness, slight stupidity, and arrogance. Like ego.
That's a good way to say it.
Because I think it was like a big thing of his stupidity was like that he was too proud to let someone else do something, like to do it, like he could do it.
But he's so pure inside.
Yo, that was one of our favorite movie characters as kids, bro.
Oh yeah, it was good for kids because kids didn't enjoy that like silliness.
Yeah, me and my brother and sisters all used to watch the Ernest movies, the Fievel movies. Fievel goes west. Fievel. The little mouse.
The cartoon?
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, Fievel.
Fievel? How do you spell it?
I want to say F-E-I-V or I-E-V. Fievel.
Fievel.
Help out Al in the comments, everybody. How you spell Fievel?
Oh, F-I-E-F-E-L. I see him. That's that.
Yeah, I can't even see it, but yeah.
Yeah. The guy with the blue hat.
It's a mouse.
Yeah, big blue hat.
Yeah.
And red sweater.
Yeah, that's like the first one, I think.
Yo, but I have no.
You never saw those movies, though? Those were like really cool because they had like the whole. It was like.
I probably did. I do remember this cover.
Think about it like this. How do we explain immigration and immigrants and like the problems they kind of face coming to a new country to kids? All right, we'll make the mice the immigrants traveling here, and then we'll make the fat cats the Americans that are after their ass, trying to eat them up. And that's Fievel.
That's a great description.
Damn, Omar, you gotta put that refrigerator in yourself? Shit. Sounds like you were carrying the fridge up the stairs. I am the fridge.
All right, fridge repairman is here.
Tampon string is showing.
Oh. It's on a month, bro.
Yeah, buddy. Omar's getting his Maytag repairman just showed up to give him his weekly delivery.
Give me some of that milk.
So wrong. So wrong.
Milk is delicious.
Milk is delicious. Milk was a bad choice. That's one of the best fucking lines, bro. You know what that's from right now?
This is ridiculous.
From
Anchorman.
Anchorman. Will Ferrell, when he like loses the job and he's like down in the dumps and he's walking down the street all long hair and a wife beater, drinking milk on a hot summer day. Milk was a bad choice. So good. So Omar and Al. Remember I was asking you guys, or not asking you guys, I was panicking with my conspiracy theories when they started that whole contact tracing stuff. They were pushing for legislation and all.
Okay.
And like, you guys were like, how, you're being a little crazy. Nowhere in here does it say that they're gonna like come to your house and test you and force you to stay home and all this. Well, Florida, a Republican state, a red state, which is reopening, is right now at the moment, any travelers from the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, that enter Florida are being forced to self-quarantine in their place of residence. And it carries a second-degree misdemeanor if they're found outside of their home during that period.
So does that include people like your parents?
No. So they live there. Now, if my parents were to come here right now and then travel back to Florida, they would have to be locked in their house for 15 days.
That's totally reasonable.
So reasonable, but now it's mandated by law.
Yeah, which is totally reasonable. Because if you're coming from a state where there's an insanely high number of cases to a state that, you know, doesn't have as many cases, it totally makes sense.
Except for anybody that has to travel for work at all, can now not travel to their place of residence, you know? So like my aunt was not going to Florida to stay there. She was going there because she travels between New York and Florida. She was going there to check on a property that she's in the midst of selling. And now
it's still reasonable.
And now she's trapped in Florida.
It still makes sense. It's
understandable.
If you're going to one place where there's a bigger number of cases for an epidemic or a pandemic, and then you go back to a state where it's like, all right, well, if you went to this place, it's like when they ask you on a blood donor form, have you spent more than a year worth of time in Africa? You know. So then if you have, you can't donate blood. Something you're volunteering to do. I'm not volunteering to ask if I can leave my house. Time out. Yeah. No. I think you're missing the point of the analogy. The point of the analogy is that this is not something that can only be contracted through blood. This is something that is airborne, you know. And just being in the same room as someone, you can contract this highly deadly disease. We're already past 100,000 deaths in the U.S. from coronavirus alone. You know, not to mention the deaths that were never really counted as coronavirus deaths because, oh, the person just died. We're not testing people that just died, so they're not marked as coronavirus deaths.
Wait, say that last part again.
The people that just died that we're not counting as coronavirus deaths because they just died, so we're not going to test dead people.
But they are counting a lot of those as corona.
No, they're not.
They are. So that's.
No, they're not.
So they're not. So there are deaths that are happening. Like, say you get hit by a bus, but you had been diagnosed.
No, the total
corona.
opposite.
That goes down as corona. Opposite. Right now.
No, absolutely not. No, because they're not testing for that. No, it doesn't. No way.
Dude, that's what the big argument is about the numbers not being done right. Is that people are being classified as corona, even though they're dying from other causes. Anywhere.
No. The argument is the other way around. It's the argument is people can potentially have coronavirus, but because they were never tested, they're getting marked down as you know, just dying of natural causes.
But the opposite is also happening, that people are dying of natural causes, and just because they had a cold or a cough, they're classifying them as corona. Or if they died of natural causes and were in a household where someone was with corona, they're being classified as corona deaths. Yes, they are. That's what's going on. That is what is going on? Like, it's already been proven that there are people that
I gotta look into
hospitals
that.
have already been,
that's the case at
like
all.
hospital employees and all have already come out and said that they're being told by their higher ups to classify things as corona, even though they're not. That's why I was bugging out when my buddy went for a test and he came back negative, and they were like, yeah, you definitely have it though. And they told him to quarantine anyway. And it's like there's erring on the safe side, and then there's fudging numbers, you know, and that's why I don't like.
Either way, fudging numbers to get to 100,000, it's still a lot of people. Let's say the numbers were fudged. Whatever's actually accurate there, it's still a lot of people. It's still way too many people. So having someone who travels from New York, a highly populated area where there's a lot of cases of coronavirus, to then go back to Florida, quarantine for 14 days, it's 2 weeks, man. That's not a lot. You know, it's for the safety of not just yourself, but everyone else. It totally makes sense.
It's not that I don't understand that it's a smart thing to do to quarantine.
I get what you're saying.
It's that you're legally now you can go to jail if you disobey that. So now if I want to leave my house, I can go to jail for that. And that's wrong.
Excuse me.
Hey, what's up, man? Sorry. I get what you're saying.
I agree
you're
that
more of a constitutionalist.
It's right. That's my thing. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's the wrong thing.
Like, would you, if someone was walking around and they had a machine gun on their back, but they're just walking around and shit like that, wouldn't you wouldn't you want cops to just be like, hey, what you doing?
But they do that already. But that's the difference. That's
like someone walking around, you travel, and you go to a mall or you go to a park, and you may have it, you may not have it. But then, like, don't you think it's the right thing to do as a citizen to be like, all right, you know, I might or may not have it. Let me just quarantine for 14 days. And then after that, all my rights instated, I'm perfectly good to go. Rather, I understand your part that they're infringing on your freedom of leaving that place, which is correct, which is not right for you. You really believe in the Constitution and our rights and our amendments. Then wouldn't that be a safer route, everybody?
Would it be a safer route?
Right there, you know, it's not like I'm gonna kill you. You come out of your house to kill you.
But it's the slippery slope.
Use light discretion.
But it's the slippery slope of you doing the right thing because it's the right thing, and the government telling you that if you don't do this, you're going to go to jail. And that's the slippery slope. Once it gets on paper, you think they're going to take that back? Maybe.
If you
Maybe
have
not. Like, once it gets into law, it's harder to take it out than it
your family. If you have a flu or you're really contagious or sick, won't you stay away from your family? Just for the safety fact of it, even if it's not contagious, wouldn't you stay?
And
so it's the same thing as, you know, putting out someone just being like, hey, let's do it for the citizenship of everybody. And
yes, but if I had the flu and I was staying away from my family, and then for some reason I had to go outside and I went outside and then I got arrested for that, yeah, I would have a problem with that kind of quarantine.
Yeah, I would understand. Yeah, I'd be.
Yeah, but the flu's not killing over 100,000 people in 3 months.
I'd be upset at that, but then, like, if I had a legitimate reason.
First of all, yes, the flu is. All right, the flu is.
100,000 people in 3 months? No, it's not. No, it's not. It does not kill that many people.
How long is flu season? And how many people die in flu season yearly?
Annually is a year is more than 3 months, dude.
A year is. I love that statement.
So flu season's all year long? Then it would just be called flu year. It wouldn't be year. It would be flu 2020.
$39,000 a year. Not 100,000, 39,000. It's still a lot.
It's a lot.
But it's not 3 months. It's a year. That's 12 months. That's 4 times the amount. That's 4 times the amount of time. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I got that wrong. Flu deaths, 24 to 62,000. 62,000.
Possibly died. So let me get this quick. Let me just throw something out there real quick. And I'm not trying to argue down coronavirus. I'm trying to argue for reasonable thought process. I think that if you're talking that the flu could possibly kill 64,000 people a year, and we've been battling the flu for so long, and we have actual measures that we put in place to battle the flu, and it still kills that many people a year. And now we're battling something that's brand new that we have no way to deal with, that we're learning on the go. and it's at 100,000 right now in 3 months, and still rising, still rising. I definitely am not arguing that. But if we're looking at the number, we're looking to lock people in their house and possibly throw them in jail for something that is a little bit more than something we've been battling and have measures to fight.
Like out of nowhere, like it's gonna happen. Like you're talking about the slippery slope, but like, you talk that it's gonna happen. They're not asking you that. They're doing
My aunt just traveled from New York to Florida and is locked in her house for 2 weeks. And if she leaves, she can go to jail. You know, like that's
fine. That's fine. Wait, time out. But let's not make it personal, right? We're talking about proper thinking and understanding.
Right.
Stuff.
I'm just saying it's now hitting close to home where I can confirm that this is something that's going on. You know, that's the only reason I bring up the personal thing.
Have you lost anyone to coronavirus?
Yeah. I've got an aunt on my dad's side in her 70s that passed, and another person that's in their 70s that I know that passed. Like, it really is a somewhat selective thing towards.
How many more people need to die? And it's not quite selective anymore. I mean, a lot of young people are suffering other issues from coronavirus. Some people are experiencing some really nasty rashes that are pretty life-threatening. Totally just made that shit up.
No, there are
people are experiencing nasty rashes that I do know. And people are suffering from younger people are suffering from a lot of shit.
There are cases in younger people.
As far as it being a legal thing, it totally makes sense. And the reason behind that is people don't want to fucking listen and do what's right. People want to do whatever they want to do. I mean, if you've seen that video where that lady has a mask on and she cuts a hole right in the fucking middle of it.
That's just an idiot.
Because
that's an idiot. That bitch is an idiot.
Yes. How many of those do you think are in this country? A lot of those.
Tons.
That's why you have to have laws like this.
So if we're just making laws for idiots, then we've got a problem.
Yeah.
That's what most laws are for.
No, laws are not for idiots.
You shouldn't murder someone. There are laws for that.
Schools are for idiots, okay? Laws are for order and justice, all right?
What?
I can't say laws are for idiots who are just going to do what they want to do.
You're the person who brought up the idiots.
We've gone on a tangent here.
You're the person who's using idiots, right? People are going to do whatever they're going to do. You have to put laws to stop people from doing things they shouldn't be doing, right?
All right.
I'm all about that being a law.
Let's get real. Let's get real. How many people die from car accidents due to speeding? Pick a state. Just pick a state for a year, and I guarantee
people die from
right.
People die from car accidents
just from speeding. I'm just saying.
Doesn't even need to be speeding.
I'm just gonna throw this example out.
A lot, totally.
Hundreds of thousands, probably more, right?
Okay.
And what do we do to stop people from speeding? We give them a ticket. Do we force them to not leave their house for 2 weeks or not drive for 2 weeks in order to stop them from doing the same thing over again? Because they're idiots. They broke the law. They're an idiot.
This is a super disconnected analogy, though.
But they're an idiot. There's a law to stop them, but the law is there to not stop them. That law is there to make money off of them. Because if we wanted to stop people from dying, we would be cracking down on cars going over the speed limit, people driving after having gotten a ticket. Maybe, you know, you get a 2-week not drive thing if you speed, you know, but we don't do it for that. But that kills just as many people. So how come we're doing it for this when it's not even, when it's on a scale of death?
You're making analogy. First of all, you're not pulling up right numbers. You're making analogies that aren't really quite connected either, and that's my whole issue with that. And yeah, totally, that's wrong. The way we do the whole ticket thing, you know, the ticket rate should not be a flat rate for, all right, well, this offense should cost this much money. No, it should be, this offense should have an impact on your life a particular way, depending on what your life is like. Meaning, if you make a lot of money, your speeding ticket should be far more than someone who makes a little bit of money. But that's a whole other topic. We're talking about something that is killing hundreds of thousands of people out of nowhere. This is out of nowhere, and it's not something that's just like here, it's all over the world. And the rest of the world has done a very good job of keeping all the numbers down. We're fucking up. We need to put laws in place.
How are you going to say that? How could you say that, right? Wait, do you think that we're not doing as good as the rest of the world in keeping numbers down?
Yeah.
Like, totally. Like where?
Italy's got their shit down.
Italy's population compared to
South Korea's got their shit
fucking
down.
Fractional, bro. You're talking about a place that's the size of Florida compared to the size of US. And you're talking about the U.S. having some of the most international travel that there is because of where we are with the stock exchange, with New York, with California. Like, there's a lot of travel through the U.S. compared to other countries. So to compare our numbers and say that we're doing such a bad job compared to other countries, that's like a extreme CNN throw out there. Like, that's rough. Like, we're actually doing really well compared to other countries. We're actually on the decline in almost every state right now. And we're reopening. So compared to other countries that did complete full lockdowns and are now back flaring up, or other countries that held their numbers down, suppressed them, and are now coming out saying that they're having issues and asking for more help and information, like Russia, who apparently had no impact from corona, and now all of a sudden they're getting a flare-up and they're asking for help. You know, like, the U.S. is doing really well, as well as other countries are doing. But for some reason...
No, we're not. We have the most cases, we have the most deaths.
We have one of the highest populations and one of the biggest land masses with some of the highest
But per capita, even per capita, our numbers higher.
How are we supposed to compare at the same level as countries like Italy or France?
Per capita.
Yeah, we still are doing pretty good.
We're doing really well, man. We're doing really well. And our numbers are all on the decline. But the media would have you believe that everything is getting worse and worse, but it's really not. It's really not. Like, we're actually doing fairly well with this whole thing. If anything, the entire thing has started to fizzle down now. But for some reason, like, you know, the media is trying to make it seem like it's about, like, it's just so bad and we're doing so horribly. That's why I think it's being politicized more than it's being informed. We're not getting the information that we should be, because we're just getting the information that it seems like they want so they can push these political and legal agendas, man. Like, now maybe there's something, maybe there's numbers that, like, the fucking governments have that are like, holy shit, these numbers are super ridiculous, like some alien information numbers. And it's like, okay, it's about to pop in like 6 months, it's going to explode. But there's no information for us to logically think that. So, I don't know, man. Seems like the media is what drives a lot of this.
When I look at the death rates,
I agree with you on the media. Once they get your feelings, then they got you. They got a hold of you. That's why they show you things. Because it's like, yo, facts don't have feelings. But then once they get you on emotion, they can push an agenda, they can push certain things and make you feel that way and totally throw the facts out of your mind. And now we're talking about, like, you're not analytical or free thinking anymore. You're kind of like being a follower and listen. And you're like, what you know is what they make you know. I don't want to sound too crazy.
I think what they're trying to do.
No, fair enough. That's actually really reasonable.
They're trying to lean on our human empathy for people, like, because none of us want to, like, all of us care about our family and our relatives and our friends' family and relatives. None of us want to see people die from something that could have been stopped. But I think they're exploiting that because they know that that's how the natural human nature is, that we're caring. So they're pretty much exploiting that so that they can push their political agendas right now, I think. And that's what's wrong. It should.
Yeah, I'm not really with the. I'm not with the. I don't agree with the whole exploitation thing. I totally understand and agree with them doing this in Florida. I mean, also, so, like, back to the whole, like, who does coronavirus affect the most? We're saying older population, right?
Right. Florida has a very high older population.
Very high older population.
Yes. Now, all right, but so this is something someone else had mentioned that I had seen in something, and it was like, I understand the quarantining and trying to slow the traffic of everyone. But if all the older people are the ones who are susceptible and the younger ones, why are we locking down everyone in the middle? Why wouldn't we stop them? Quarantine them. They can't go out. They should not be going back to work. They should be getting government help because they're being kept at home and all this. But, like, the rest of the population, why are we not working? Why are we not going back?
Well,
why are only frontline workers taking the risk? Like, why are we all getting back to get the economy going?
I'll pose this. I'll pose this because that's a really great thought process. Not every old person lives alone.
True.
A lot of old people live with younger people.
True.
And a lot of younger people do work with older people.
True.
And it could be things as simple as, like, being an aide, getting somebody groceries. I'm sure there are a ton of other things. So, like, I understand the question that you pose, but I'm also like, well, what really goes into that? What else is tied with that? You know, it's as simple as, like, we don't really see all the connections with stuff. for example, yesterday, this is not even related to the topic, but I'm more just bringing up a case for like connectivity. The dog got out. Nobody in the, me and the other person that are here didn't know the dog got out. A few of the neighbors chased him. The one dude that brought the dog back to the house, I was like, oh, thanks a lot, man. I was like, why do you look so familiar? I was like, oh shit, we played D&D together once. It's like, oh, we didn't even realize we lived near each other. It's weird connections that you don't expect that just somehow are there. So why don't we just lock down older people? I'm sure there are a million different reasons why not.
I think the reason I get what you're trying to, like, the analogy you're putting is pretty much like you don't know the connections that are out there. No, you can't be sure. But at the same time, right, it's those people that are in contact with elderly, that do take care of and support someone who is older, who should be getting government help to stay home and get paid in order so that they cannot travel as well, so they can take care of those people that they get in contact with. Those older people that would be in the workplace should be the ones who are paid to stay home and not go to work. But the younger people that are not living with older people that don't have it, they should be the ones to take on the responsibility of going back to work. You don't live with an older person, you don't travel to see your grandparents in this time, because it's your responsibility to stay away from any of the older people like that. But it's also our responsibility to get the country's economy back up.
How do you impose that rule? The question is, how do you impose that rule?
Well, that's,
like for example, a great example is who gets the stimulus check? Some people are unemployed. Should they get the stimulus check? Absolutely. What about people that are still getting paid? Should they get the stimulus check?
No.
Look, man, I'm not gonna lie. I love getting the money, but in reality, I don't deserve, nor do I need that stimulus check. It's awesome getting it, but the reality is, someone like me who's still getting paid throughout this time should not get that check.
Well,
I really hope this doesn't affect me.
Well, that's another thing that's going on right now that I listen, I agree with you. I hope you keep your money. But I agree with that as well, is that there's a lot of money that's being sent out just so that everybody stays home and doesn't work. But not everybody needs it all, but they're pretty much trying to do it on a fair, and even keel. Like, everybody is getting this, and then everybody gets their unemployment based on the normal percentage we've always done unemployment on, so it goes based on what you were making before and everything. But like, when we want to reopen the economy and get people to go back to work, right? Like right now, you get a check for your unemployment, you get a check for your stimulus, which is already competitive to what you were making when you worked, just to stay home. Even if it's a little less, you don't have to go to work. So now they want to reopen the economy. How do you get people that are getting paid to stay home to come back to work?
To go back to work.
Well, you have to stop paying them. You have to stop paying them to stay home. So right now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to push more money in a stimulus for people. Meanwhile, there's still money from the previous stimulus that hasn't even gone out yet.
Right.
So it's like, how are we supposed to get people to go back to work if you're talking about giving them the money they get normally, more money on top of that, and now you're talking about more money possibly coming down the pipeline from there? No one's going to want to go to work when they can stay home and be like, well, no, I'm going to stay home. I don't want to be, spreading this, pay me, and that's not the worst thought for a normal person. But at the same time, like, how long can a country sustain that? How long can we just keep printing money for people to stay home before we start actually making some products here?
Well, it's not really printing money.
It's printing money. It's going into debt.
It's not printing money.
Well, where's the money come from?
It's not printing money. Printing money is something different. Printing money is actually making physical dollars, which has a whole other effect. Giving people money, it's interesting. Like, there are plenty of people that can barely afford to live where they live, and these stimulus checks are just covering the bare minimum at best. So there's that. But back to the whole, like, getting people back to work, and this kind of ties back to the 3-part episode that we had with Johnny, where businesses like Amazon, that the people on top are making an excessive amount of money. Meanwhile, the people that are really making that business rich are the ones that are doing the labor, the ones working in the factories, the ones doing the deliveries of delivering all the packages. And you know, they're earning minimum wage, which minimum wage is really not a livable wage. It's livable in the sense that, like, oh hey, I can pay my bills so that I can go to work tomorrow, so I can come home and pay my bills. And that's not really a life, you know.
And what are you trying to say though?
That's my issue. Well, so that's my issue with the whole, like, America has to get back to work. Not everybody's job is great. A lot of people work at places like Walmart. A lot of people work at Amazon fulfillment facilities where they're not really making any money, but they're working their entire day away and they're hating it. Dude, so I spend an excess of hours at my job and it sucks. And it's just like, oh, I just have enough money to, like, buy some stuff and
but let me ask one question.
Cover some of my bills.
To do better for yourself.
But let me pose one question.
What's up?
After Al.
Yeah.
I would say that you have the opportunity to do better for yourself, and that's what capitalism is versus socialism. Like, we shouldn't be angry at the guy creating the jobs and putting his own money in the beginning and starting his own thing and, you know, actually building it up. Now all these people do have jobs, and now you're going to try to tax this guy on top that job created for them. So then no one should innovate at that point, and everyone would just be staying status quo. And that's what capitalism is, you know?
And in addition to that, just to make one more point on top of that, because I agree with you, Al, 100%. Like, I don't think they should be going after in any way private people. Like, that guy, you can criticize him all you want, but he did exactly what Al just said. But the thing to go to Omar's point, right now, the only places open are those big businesses that are exploiting that entire situation you just said is so bad. Amazon is still open. You know, all the big places are open. Mom and pops are closed. All those smaller businesses that would compete and give fairer wages to employees, they're right now being stifled by having to stay home. They're being stifled by people having to stay home.
I gotta cut you off at the mom and pops giving employees fair wages. That's not true.
So nobody gets paid fair wages then, because if mom and pops aren't doing it and corporations aren't doing it, then who's getting paid fair wages?
Yeah.
You know, like, at some point it's like, if criticize these big companies, we also have to really, like, we're the only ones making money right
I'm sorry, man. I'm not just criticizing the big companies.
I think right now the government with the quarantine is pretty much hand in hand helping monopolize big businesses in a way. Amazon is killing it right now. Anywhere that's big enough to deliver and stay open this time is killing it. But all the smaller businesses that can't are pretty much about to be on the teat of the government. You know, they're about to be taking bailouts. Right. They're about to be having to fix their places, put tons of money in. They're all going into debt. Meanwhile, these other big corporations are killing it right now. Yeah.
So no, this is kind of a rebuttal to what Al was saying earlier, the whole thing about, like, what's so great about capitalism. I think this is the issue with capitalism, that essentially money is just a representation of power. And accumulating wealth is not just, oh, I have money to spend on stuff. It's, I'm accumulating power. And the only way to accumulate more power is by taking power away from people. So the more money you have, the more power and influence you have over government. And, you know, so, like, for example, and I use Amazon example because it's an easy example.
What do you mean taking power away from somebody? Like, the only way they can assert their power and gain it is taking power from other people. What do you mean by that? Like,
so this is what I mean by, like, in government, you're influencing what laws are passed, how laws are made in your favor. You know, why don't big corporations pay taxes? Because they've influenced our government officials to make it that way.
Because they've created all these jobs for people, and they also are a productive member of society, which you want the society to grow towards, right? Of everyone being productive, everyone doing their thing.
Totally. I'm not shitting on the big business itself. I'm using it as an example, but they are essentially cutting up the power in this country and keeping it at the top. You know, they're not paying taxes. Who's paying the taxes? The little guy.
They're not, like, we're not paying their taxes, like you're saying it like that. We're paying the taxes. We're paying the taxes. Big corporations are taking advantage of tax policies in different states and different places, different countries, different continents.
Totally. But tax policy is not the only thing that they're taking advantage of. They're also taking, you know, the minimum wage laws. The minimum wage laws are another thing that they're taking advantage of. Minimum wage now should be $22 or more. That should be a law.
That's not on them. That's on the governments.
That's on. You're talking about other countries, right?
And
Oh, I get what Omar's saying.
But they have influence
saying
on the
because of their
government.
money and their power and their influence, that they're able to make policy work in their favor because they have more. They're in the ear of the government more than the little guys like us might be. So they're more prone to make policy that would favor their type of thing. I agree with both. I think we're all making legit arguments here because I totally think that they exploit the system as it is, which that you played a game, you know, like they didn't make the game, you know, don't hate the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But at the same time, I agree that
exactly
the player is also, you know, up at the top, like telling them like, hey, you know how the game should go? We should pay them less, you know? But at the same time, like it's one of those weird dances where people, I keep saying shit like this, man, and my girl keeps calling me out on this, where I'll be like, the thing people don't understand is, and it's the thing that I didn't understand until someone explained it to me, what, that like, those companies, like, yeah, that's so wrong. It really is so wrong. But then it's like, okay, how do you stop that? Well, either the policy makers just don't listen to them, but then you have those guys that are like, well, I'll take my business somewhere else. And now you're losing hundreds of thousands of potential jobs from people or something, you know, like they have that pull because they can move their thing out, and then you're going to have unemployment or less income for your state's GDP. Like, look at Elon Musk. He threatened to move Tesla from California, and they folded right away. And we're like, yeah, no, it's all good. Go to work, open up. It's all good. Because they knew, like, they don't want to.
Like, what's the problem with that? I'm saying, like,
no, that's just their cards. Everybody's got cards to play in that big game of poker. And like, those
what are they getting from the government? Like, they're getting special treatment. They're just saying for their tax. Think about this: you own a business. You're looking at, all right, where's the best place for me to keep the most assets and have the least amount of tax? All right, California's doing this rule to me. I'll be like, all right, but like Montana's not doing this to me, so maybe I'll go there. What's wrong with that?
It becomes a bidding war.
You're seeing that as just oh, this affects me. I can just do this, not realizing, oh, every move I make has large effects on everything and everyone else.
You want to keep
do this, and I can be incredibly selfish. Freedom to do that. Or I can be incredibly selfish and only handle me. Which, like, look, man, from a personal standpoint, I get it. I'm a very selfish person. I totally get it. It's just I'm merely just talking about things on how I think they should be. You know, it's when you have that much money, you have that much power, and if you're using your power for only personal gain, that's where the issue lies. And that's where our government is failing.
I think that using your power and influence for more personal gain, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that is, in essence, capitalism. That is what you should be doing. You should be using every asset you have.
That's the issue of capitalism.
I don't think that you should be hurting anyone along the way. You know what I mean? Now, if you're doing stuff that's like, you know, you're using unfair work conditions, or you're paying people under legal limits and things like that stuff, that, yeah, you got to go after them for it. If now the law sets that minimum wage, do they have pull over how much they set the minimum wage at? Maybe. We don't know what goes on in the back door. But we can't so get mad at stripping down the companies for just their capitalistic views, but it's the government that has to actually adapt to the market.
But that's the issue with capitalism itself. But hold on, back to what you just said. Like, if you're not hurting anyone, if I take my company and move from California to Pennsylvania, how many people that had a job that were probably good at their job will no longer have their job?
How many people in Pennsylvania?
You know, it's not as simple as just moving. You're still hurting people. You're still hurting people. You're still hurting people.
That's capitalism in the sense that that's your choice. I own a business. I can move my business.
And that's the issue.
That's not an issue.
Right?
There should be nothing. It's not a company from moving from one state to another.
If you have that much control and power, there should be something in place to protect everyone else who helps you amass that control and power. Because the reason people have jobs at your company is to make your company more money.
But they do have things.
Right? That's the only reason you hire people. You don't hire people, dude. I'm not gonna hire somebody. I'm not gonna hire somebody because I'm like, hey, I want to be good and help you out. No, I want to hire you so I can fucking make money. And if I'm just gonna hire you and then dispose of you like that, because I can do that willy-nilly, there's an issue.
Well, not really. There's
an issue.
If I can.
Why?
It's not that simple.
Bro,
it is not that
it's
simple.
So that
it is
simple.
not that. It's not. It's
I don't
that is
owe you
disgusting
anything.
to
But that's-
think that.
but-
You're gonna
That is
get
so
paid this
disgusting.
amount?
You absolutely do.
No.
That person is the reason that person and those people are the reason your company's blowing up.
Right, and that's-
for you to take that and move that elsewhere.
make your point.
That's disgusting, bro.
That's your opinion, and that's your right to have that opinion of that person's
Totally,
actions.
totally.
However,
Absolutely.
but it is still that person's freedom and choice to do what he wants with his business. Him doing that might be a loss to that person, but that was that person's choice to work for him. Now, will someone else
But
want to
you're losing
apply
track
to
of the
work for
power.
a company that does something like that? No, and that's why companies try to do things to keep a good name so that people would still want to work for them. But if I hire people just to fire them in 2 weeks and that becomes a thing where people know it, yeah, people might not like me, but that's my fucking right. I can do that.
But you're posing one small example. You're posing one very like whatever example, as opposed
was
to
the example that was
hey,
brought
these
up. I'm
people have
just-
been working here. No, I never said 2 weeks.
No,
People
in
that
general.
are making this company huge. But like what again, back to the whole point of building a business. If you make it large enough, that business is not just about making a couple of dollars anymore. It's about the redistribution of power.
But are they? But are,
Is that
That's
fair?
what making
okay,
money is.
but-
It's power.
But somewhere along the lines of them doing all the work that they've put into this business to make that person more money, did they renegotiate their contract? Did they get a raise or a promotion in some way? Did they get some sort of like extra thing? No, they didn't get shit. They did the job that they agreed to. They got paid for the amount that they were agreed to do it for. And that guy got rich. You can't get mad at anything in that transaction. That is how it works.
Life works.
You're missing my point. It's not just the transaction. It's the fact that the government allows that to be the procedure. Where, oh hey,
That's
you
true.
have
It's freedom.
there's no way that Amazon, Jeff Bezos earned the billions of dollars that he made. He made that shit. I'm with it. But a lot
So
of
he
people
stole it?
earned him that
So he
money.
stole it?
A lot of people earned him that money. No, he just negotiated something that was more beneficial to him than to them.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what America is.
There's something totally wrong with that. There's something absolutely wrong with that. We have a healthcare system that is not taking care of the people in this country. And that's a big part of it because healthcare also is a big business.
So there's two layers to this. That I see. There's the mix between how government runs the country because of their influence with these big businesses, which I can agree that that's the government's problem. The big businesses are not at fault in that sense. They're part of the problem, but they're not the culprit. The government should be making sure that there are certain things that they don't change things. They're looking out for the people, not the company. That I agree with. The government should be looking out for us because they're there just for us, not for that big company. But
The big business should absolutely be looking for the little guy as well.
But the company itself,
if the little guys who's making that company the money, that there should be a lot more.
But just because somebody's at top doesn't mean that they should carry more water than the guy at bottom. That makes no sense. Like,
but they're getting more benefit.
they worked to get to that. They expanded. They made more businesses. They took more risks. They put out more capital. And then it paid out for them. I agree that it's not as easy to do for everybody, but like when people do it and succeed, like I can't knock them for that. Now I can knock them.
And then they develop systems that disproportionately tip the scales in their favor. Disproportionately. That's the key right there. The disproportionate tipping of power in their favor.
Yeah, but that's what the government side. That's at the top end of
they
the
have, other than like
Yeah,
saying,
which they have influence over because they have so much power. Because they have the money, which is the power.
But
that is the issue with
that almost
capitalism
seems-
in its purest form.
But it almost seems like you're trying to put like an NBA salary cap on like how much you can make in America before it's like, okay, that's too much. Now you're going to have too much power. You're going to be more.
There should totally be a salary cap on that.
What?
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
do you like socialism?
Do you want to be a communist?
Look, there's a lot of socialistic things I agree with.
I don't know. I just.
I don't think
it down with that one.
I don't
You
think
like
I
Bernie
need to pay,
Sanders?
dude. Hell yeah! I don't think I need. I don't think half of my paycheck should just go into, hey, just in case I get sick every month.
I agree that there should be some health care with our government. I agree with that. There should be better health care.
That's just one example.
That's one
dude.
example I agree with, though, where that should not be a worry.
That shit should be
That
covered.
should not be a worry. I agree. And seeing how much money is being thrown around right now, and like you said, they're not just printing it, so it's legit money. They have enough to cover healthcare. for people. So right now, this is more of a peek behind the blinds of, hey, what the fuck are you not paying all our healthcare for when you had all this money just sitting around? And that's on the government.
Because they're giving tax breaks to big corporations.
I mean,
because they're not having the corporations pay the money that they should. Don't forget, if those corporations are taxed the way they should be taxed, we can afford to do a lot more stuff.
I don't know a lot about the way that they're taxed at the top, to be honest. I know that they get tax breaks because of how many people they employ, and that they get deals worked out with the government for carrying a certain amount of employees and not laying off employees in certain times, and they get breaks and stuff for that. I don't know exactly how it all works. I'd be naive to. Any viewers that know better than us as far as like how the stuff at the top works, please hit us in the comments, because
yeah, we don't know what the fuck I don't know what I'm talking about.
And don't tune into this show.
I'm just spewing out ideas that come my way.
Do not tune into this show for advice on all of your political stuff. Just tune in for a couple of opinions from a few regular fucking American citizens. A little variety here, you know? But definitely help us out in the comments. If we're getting any of this stuff wrong and you know better than us, like, please give us.
Set us straight.
And by the way, back to Al's comment on communism. I don't wear this because I'm a communist. This is just a hat I got that fits my head.
I know, it was such a, I'm just like, damn, he's wearing the fucking commie hat too.
You got the shirt, you know, if you could wear the chest shirt.
The Che Guevara.
Like, dang.
Yeah, no, I'm not down with communism at all.
Yeah.
My dad's family fled Cuba.
We know Omar very well. He's very anti-communism. So.
And nowadays, you can't hate on China. And when you say China, to be correct, it'll be the CCP, Chinese, like Communist Party, you know?
Yo, you guys want to hear something crazy that just happened?
Party.
All right, here's another one you guys can hit us in the comments about. Tell us how you feel. Twitter just started putting a fact check thing at the bottom of Trump's tweets. Okay, so now whenever
I just saw that.
Now whenever Trump puts out a tweet, they have this little blue icon at the bottom that says fact check thing here, and it takes you to a link to fact check whatever he's talking about. Okay,
it's amazing.
Is it Omar? Because they should also add it to China Communist Party's Twitter as well. Yes.
No, actually, I'm just saying it's amazing because in all reality, anybody that knows me knows I don't like this president. Yeah. And not really for any other reason than I just think this is a dumb person, and I don't think this person should be in charge of this country.
I kind of like his policies.
Yeah, I don't hate him. I don't hate Trump.
I just think he's an idiot. I don't know shit about his policies.
I agree.
He's a dumb motherfucker.
All right. Let's get real on Trump real quick.
Wait. No, I was in the middle of saying something. I was in the middle of saying something. But like Marco Rubio said something interesting. If so like Twitter doesn't have the same rules that like a publisher has to follow. It doesn't have to follow the same laws because it's a forum. It's not a publishing company. But if they're going to start doing fact checks, then it should follow the same laws as a publishing company, which I was like, oh, maybe I'll look into that. I'm not going to look into anything. But maybe I'll look into that.
That's interesting, because I'm very curious, because they haven't put the fact check things on they haven't put it on CDC, on WHO, on Chinese Communist Party, on any other major things but his. And they're owned now. Never mind.
That is interesting.
It's very interesting.
Why only your boy? Are they so left that they hate him?
They're so left. They're super left. Twitter is super left the last few years. It's bad.
As a person that's more concerned with the truth than any politics, I think it's a great idea to put fact checks on anyone who has political influence. Not influence, but if your job is politics, I think it's a great idea to have fact checking on.
That's fine. I'm fine with it as long as it's for every single person,
every single one,
every senator, every congressman, everybody that holds a representative office for the people, or some sort of an office for other countries, whether it be Russia, China, all of them. Every single thing that's going to put out information that could affect your life, like the CDC, the WHO, they should all have those things on them now. If you're going to have the CNN and the news things on there, they should also have those on there.
Absolutely.
Not just one person that it seems like everyone is attacking pretty hardcore. And I get it. Like, he's fucking ridiculously stupid sometimes. I thought that we got a good run under Bush. George W. Bush. Oh my God, I thought that was the only time in my life that I would live through a fucking president so funny that watching him is funnier than watching him on SNL.
With Will Ferrell.
It was funnier to watch him live, bro. You got a guy who the president is quoted in rap lyrics for his stupidity half the time. Fool me once, shame on you.
Shame on you. Fool me twice.
Can't be fooled again.
Can't be fooled again.
Like, what? This guy, though, this guy is going to be in every pop culture reference for the next 50 years, okay? Like, it is crazy how hilarious, how the content he's providing is going to be for generations.
And talking about, like, speaking like an idiot, speaking dumb shit, fucking Biden is no good.
Yo, that's what's so bad right now. Like, how you gonna
don't do that. Don't do that.
It's the same shit, bro.
Yo, yo. He's just the worst, yo.
It's like they got shit out now where it's like sexual assault allegations. Do I think that he sexually assaulted some chick? No. Do I think that he had a stroke in front of a woman and was just stroking out on her? Yeah, probably, because he's that close to death.
I mean,
he is.
Look, man.
He is so bad right now, dude.
I'm not gonna speculate on shit, but like, there are countless videos of him getting uncomfortably close to women,
young women,
and young girls.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Touching them in weird ways. It's like, yo,
just
that's weird. And there's a camera around. What are you doing?
You know there's a camera, but that's the thing is that he's so gone now. I think that he just forgets.
This is from years ago, bro. This is from years ago.
Bro, he's been gone for a while. Now it's. Did you see him the other day? His newest quotes was and we're gonna beat Biden.
No.
Hilarious, man. They're not. I think they're gonna pull him. I think it's a little switcheroo they're doing. They're showing him, so it's like, hey, look, this is the fake out. It's so bad, and then in the last minute they're gonna swoop him out and put someone else as their nominee, like Cuomo or something like that. That's why Cuomo's getting their time.
No.
I think right now they're trying to. I think they're gonna swap out Cuomo for Biden as the nominee, and that's why Cuomo's getting so much airtime right now, and that they're pushing him so much. I think that's my guess. Because I'm sitting over here like, why the fuck is everybody's riding Cuomo's dick so hard? He's fucking up too. But not as bad as Biden.
Mafia are gangsters. They're just mafia gangsters.
Yeah, man. Hilarious. Meanwhile, Biden.
Dude, that's what politics is, bro. That's what politics is.
Meanwhile, Trump's out here going to freaking warehouses and shit, not wearing masks and shit.
I wore it over there behind there where I have to wear it.
Right? Like, it's not like Bush.
He's not even trying. He's not trying. He's never been
Bush.
trying.
Like under Bush, it would have been okay. He just didn't wear the mask. But we're not getting Bush now. We're getting Trump. So we get the +1 and +2. Oh, he didn't wear a mask. Well, I wore it over there. What? Yeah, I didn't wear it out here. And then he goes and it's like Biden's wearing a mask out in public. He's like, yeah, and I'm not gonna criticize Biden for wearing a mask, but he wasn't wearing it inside. Like what? This guy's fucking ridiculous, bro. He's like, I think the biggest problem is that he's treating his presidency half-heartedly like a Comedy Central roast of himself. Like he feels like he's sitting. He feels like he's sitting on that chair, and all these people that are there to throw shade are just there for him. So he's just laughing at all, like, ha ha ha! I can't wait till my turn. I'm gonna rip you one. I swear, that's how he's treating his presidency, man.
Just wear the mask, right? Just wear the mask.
Like he can't just like all he has to do to like sway opinion towards him would be like what? Abide by a few of the rules.
Yeah, that's
not tweet for
not
like
Trump.
3 months.
Do what he wants.
Like, let his speechwriters maybe help him out once. And then like he might somehow be like, wow, like hold up. Maybe that whole fake news thing he's talking is real. But he can't do that. No. He's like one of those like, nah, I'm right and I know I'm right and there's no way to tell me otherwise type of guys, you know? Like, and that's just how he's approaching his whole thing. And it's like, you stupid motherfucker.
And one side's respectable. But
you go dig your own
thing, man. You do your thing.
And to think, and then I go and I think like, damn, all our previous presidents, like we've never had nothing like Trump. And then I start looking back and I'm like, man, I wish I was older, because when I look back at like stories and stuff through presidencies, it's like we have had some pretty ridiculous presidencies through the years. We just didn't live through it to like get the everyday news that was going on. And I feel like if we had lived through like, you know, some Reagans and some Nixons, you know, maybe a Bush senior, I'm glad we didn't really have to be aware of that. Talking about the motherfucker that ran the CIA, became the president. Just think about that for a second. Motherfuckers don't even know that shit. He ran the CIA and then became president.
That's crazy.
He knew everything and then found out more. And his son was there for the whole ride.
Wouldn't you want someone like that, though? Did you think about it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking just now. That sounds like someone that.
You talking about the CIA during like earlier years CIA when they were still doing super, super dirty shit, because they were like, nobody knows who we are, you know?
I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, so I don't follow anything on the CIA.
Ooh, you talk about the guy that pretty much made it, gave the keys to spy on Americans. And then his son gets in and he's like, son, you're gonna go and you're gonna turn that key that I put in the hole. And he did. He did. He went and made the Patriot Act. Yeah. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, they're listening. You know damn well they are.
You know it. I'll be the first one to get my door knocked on. We're here to test you for coronavirus with a bullet to the head.
Sprinkle some crack. He's put
Sprinkle
pictures.
some crack on him.
Sprinkle some crack on him. You're shot. Oh.
Yo, I wish so I wish that was an option in Call of Duty. Like, when people kill you, they just run over and try to like teabag you. They just like crouch up and down on you, try to like nutsack you.
Yeah.
I wish you could just like have one where it's like you sprinkle a little crack on the body, you know? Like the spray paint style. You know how you can like press up on the D-pad and then spray paint the wall or do like a gesture? You should be able to gesture that over a body.
Can you spray paint a body?
Yeah, bro. I don't know if you guys know it, but half the time when I'm like not doing well in a game, it's because the first 5 minutes I was just like following you guys around, spray painting you.
Oh, that's awesome.
It stays on you. The color stays on you and stuff.
Stays on you till you die.
I don't think I've ever spray painted everything.
Yeah, like pink or red or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sucks because it's easiest for them to see.
Yeah, yeah. So my bad if you guys get killed sometimes because you're bright pink.
Right. Our backs at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, you got those dudes running around in like red outfits and fucking neon blue Tron outfits.
Bro, those guys though, like, they're easy to see, but they're also hard to see because you're not looking for it sometimes. Like,
and those usually end up being the guys that are like fucking nasty
Yeah.
at the game. I love killing those guys. It's so satisfying.
so satisfying to kill them. Yeah, I was trying to get you to do the Recon C4 with me, which is pretty much.
Dude, I got it, and then you got off.
Oh, my bad.
You do that and you get new operators? The co-op thing?
New operators? Oh no, he's talking about if I send out a recon drone, he could throw C4 on it, and then I could take the recon drone to where the bad guys
Drifter
are,
move.
and then he'll detonate it. Drifter showed me that. Yeah.
Before
That's cool. That's smart.
Before he died, Drifter showed me that trick. We lost a man.
Yeah,
We lost a good man in battle recently, guys.
Yeah.
The WAB. Let's have a moment of WAB silence for Drifter. Peace out, motherfucker! That's what happens when you get a little crazy, all right? You die in battle.
He's got some maturing to do.
Yo, he's literally finding the game against us. How's that possible?
So, someone didn't remove him, and I think it was Diaz at first hadn't removed him. So after we removed him, he hopped in our game following Diaz. Because even though he's not in the WAB, if you're friends with him, he still sees you online and can click your name and join you unless you have your privacy settings changed. So pretty much one of us was still friends with him and showed up, and he followed through that. He like piggybacked in.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah, we're on the Steve Buscemi list now.
That happened when Tom got on the other night too, because it was me, Thomas, and Diaz at the end. Everybody else was getting off, and then we're just sitting there, and all of a sudden it was like, "Hey, JB," and I was like, "The fuck?" And I just hit like mad quick 3 times and just backed out of that fucking lobby. Texted Thomas and Diaz and was like, "One of you has to remove him and join me."
Oh boy.
He'll learn, man. He'll learn. Fuck him. But yo, that C4 trick is definitely a good trick that he taught us before he died. You throw the C4 on the recon, fly it around, boom. I love it because whoever puts the C4 on gets the kills.
Does the recon guy get the assist?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, but I get the kills. Kills are mine, Omar.
Dude, I'm all about the assist, bro. That's the only reason I have recon drones anyway.
You guys are 2 peas in a pie.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yo, look, I'm not one to talk my game
pick.
up, but I'm pretty solid with the recon drone call outs.
Yeah.
I don't just tag guys, I call them out.
Yeah. I gotta get the Twitch.
Better, yo. It really is knowing where you're having choke spots.
What happened?
I gotta get the Twitch set up tomorrow. Try to figure out that whole thing so we can start like streaming some of the games up to there that we play.
Yeah.
We gotta get the WAB online. WAB worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide wide.
Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes.
Boats and hoes.
Ooh, you guys see that Waco shit on Netflix?
Oh.
No.
No, I haven't.
After I already can tell. I was like, nah, this guy's a cocksucker. I'm not gonna watch it.
What? You guys are dumb.
Dude, it was great to see that first text. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Then I asked you about what you were talking about. You told us what you were talking about. And then I knew exactly where you were taking it. Al knew. Al called you out on it. And I fucking had a gas, bro. I was just sitting here laughing my ass off in front of my TV. Because it was just the fucking greatest thing.
Hold up, you saw it?
How racist. I didn't. What was great was the whole series of text messages. Because it's obvious it's gonna be some straight up racist ass shit.
Nope.
It's gonna be either racist thing or like some sort of
or some stereotypical shit.
Yeah, something of offense. You know?
You guys are
Nothing good. Nothing good.
Oh,
bugging,
man.
bro. You act like I'm some
I'm
sort
gonna
of like...
find that. I'm gonna take a screen cap and it's gonna be up in that black window. Right in that black window.
You guys are fucking nuts. You think I'm some sort of like crazy racist bastard. Nah, bro. I was watching that shit with my girl, and all of a sudden we both look at each other at the same moment and we're like, yo, Al, chill with killing women and children.
She tells me you're a racist, bro.
She tells me you're racist all the time, bro.
Yo, that's all my sister says is JB's a fucking racist.
What a race. Hold up 1 second. My bad, guys. I have to mute this. I'm gonna find Al real quick and show you guys on a screen capture or whatever it's called. Yep, there he is.
You should show your feed.
I'm gonna. Oh, like my screen capture.
Yeah, we can always chop in and out of whatever we want.
Alrighty. Oh yeah, here we go. My bad. Where's my screen share.
Oh, it doesn't show it. That's annoying. That's so stupid. Why wouldn't it show your screen share?
Hold up.
What the?
Like it shows it in Skype, but it doesn't show it in OBS.
I see multiples.
Let me add.
Racist.
See it now?
Ah, man. Is that the guy from Off the Boat? Fresh off the
You
boat?
just killed this lady, bro. That's you, Al.
Was that the
Just
dad
did
from
that,
Fresh
Al.
Off the-
That's what you just did. Killed that woman.
Racist. Is he Asian?
Of course he's Asian. What am I? I'm not blind.
He looks nothing like me. You Ben Affleck. You Matt Damon.
You Matt Damon.
JB's more like a cross between Eminem and Tom Hiddleston.
Eminem and Tom Hiddleston. I've always...
It's like a rapping Loki.
Yeah, right. What the? Tom Hiddleston and who?
Eminem.
Eminem.
I like to think it's somewhere more between like Shia LaBeouf and Bubba Sparks.
It's gonna get ugly.
Not my gold fronts in no more. I had to take them beds out.
Bubba Sparks. Oh man, that fucking. That's a Timberland
Yeah.
beat too, right? That's a
Yeah,
fucking
him and
great
Timberland
beat.
used to work together. That was the only time Bubba was good.
Dude, that's some rappers really need a good beat behind them. Otherwise, it's.
Would you say that the beat makes up most of the song?
That depends on what you're listening to. I listen more to the beat than the words.
But then if the words
Especially
had a
if it's just
backbeat
like a
behind it,
boring flow.
would you listen to it?
I think that's exactly what's going on right now in music.
No.
Is that you have awesome beats, but whack lyrics. But it doesn't matter because the beats are so
Bad flow,
awesome.
shitty flow.
Did you guys ever watch? There was like a Bo Burnham special.
The comedian?
Yeah.
I don't watch Bo Burnham.
So I always
He's
thought he
really
was
annoying.
super annoying back in the day, bro. And I watched one of his specials recently, and I gotta say, like, just taking away my personal opinion of him going into it and just watching it, it was just a very well-made stand. It's one of those stands where there's no winging it. Every single moment of it is like pre-planned, set up with like the lights and the sound cues and everything. But it's like super well done. Now that we're doing creative shit, it's like, all right, wow, that's like impressive.
Yeah.
The level of like everything was so well planned and set up. You know, his content here and there is kind of whatever. I thought it was pretty good overall, but there was one part where he had his whole thing was saying any good beat now, and you could say anything over it. And he just played a dope ass beat in the background and just started saying anything. And it was awesome. And by anything, I mean, he was like, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here's my handle. Here's my spout. And then like the chorus comes in. Teapot, he's teapot. And it's like, yo, not gonna lie. If they played that in the club, people would go crazy. Right now, that would probably be like the #1 hit.
Good beat, yeah.
And it's just like, that's just what it is right now. But that's the beauty of music, I think. That's the beauty of music, man. Like, is that if you like that, fine, you like that. If you need more than that, and like you see that for just a beat and not lyrics, there's music out there that has both that you can, that you can go find. If you don't like any of that stuff, there's a music out there for that, like that's kind of like the beauty of it. Like there's something out there for everybody. But do I hate that right now the most popular stuff is, what I don't, hold in the highest regard? Yeah, it gets to me sometimes, but I had to back off the gas pedal on that one a little bit and be like, all right, whatever. We had some whack rappers in our time. We had some rappers that shouldn't have got the money they got in our time, but they did. But as time goes by, you know, only the real shit, like the real good quality things always age well, you know? Like, you can't just throw on the whack shit from our day and people be like, yeah, this is good. But you can throw the dope shit on from our time and people are like, what is this? Like, okay.
I get what you're saying. I do disagree with
Okay.
that to a certain extent. But that's also because my taste in music are something
Right.
totally different.
You're very musical and
I
instrument
feel
oriented.
Well, I'm also a hater, and
Yeah.
I hate most music.
But that's the beauty of music, is that you could hate most music, but there is still something that you consider music and hold in like that highest regard. And then,
Oh, there's shit that I love. There's shit that I think is amazing.
but then I'm sure there's some music that you would think is awful or expect to think is awful, but you could probably find like little hints where it's like, oh, hey, they took that from something that I do appreciate, or, you know, they used a similar melody type of thing.
Oh, dude. Exhibit's Paparazzi was taken from one of my favorite classical pieces.
And I'm sure you're not an Exhibit fan, really. Who is? Sorry.
Pimp
Sorry,
My
is
Ride,
it?
people.
But Pimp My Ride was pretty fucking whack, bro.
Yeah.
I used to
Car will
love
break
that
down
show.
in like
I
another
heard
month.
those cars were garbage, though.
Pimp My Ride was like one of those shows that was like super popular, but at the same time, it was also like, it was like you're laughing, but at it, not with it, you know? Like yeah, it's popular, but like only because it's so bad. It's like Flavor Flav, or Yo Mama.
Yo,
Right?
Mom.
The Yo Mama show with Fez was on for years, bro.
That was actually funny. I like that.
Dude, I enjoyed parts of it, but after a while, it became a parody of itself without changing. You know, it just gets to a point where it's so much of that same thing, and it's so kind of ridiculous that it becomes the moniker rather than the show. Like, you don't even remember actual episodes as much as you could just like picture the episodes, you know?
But it's a show that will last forever because it's when we decide to make Yo Mama jokes as a show, and that's what it is.
But that's that show that, like, if they ever get, like, we're gonna get to like that future civilization where we're so far advanced, both in like technology and humanity, that they're gonna play stuff like UFC and Yo Mama as like, look at what these barbarians used to use for entertainment and joy. They would watch people bash each other's teeth out and talk badly about each other's mothers.
For sure.
Right? That's what it's gonna be. Like history class, it's gonna be like, today we're gonna teach ethics and morals. What not to do. And they play like an episode of Yo Mama.
Like, yeah, there's no need for this. This helps nothing.
I feel
But
like
then there'll be that one kid in back,
feel like-
Timmy, and he's like, gets that seed of inception planted where he's like, wait a minute, this is amazing. And then he brings it back to life and there's a revival. And then we are still, well, not we, but, you know, the Yo Mama show is the downfall of a future humanity.
Yo, so back
That's a movie.
to all right, that whole like revival shit, back to shit that came back. So this is really great because this ties into someone you had mentioned earlier, Logan Paul, and then something I was talking about earlier, which was that movie The Navigator. Movie was made in 1986, and like the little brother, when he became the older brother, was dressed the way fucking Logan Paul dresses, like a fuckboy. And I was just like, yo, this shit fucking came back hard. This 80s style came back hard.
Hell yeah. That whole 80s style has been, yeah, it definitely made a revival. But fashion always does that cycle shit. But yeah, that 80s, like, tighter jeans and shirts and...
Like it's stuff that I knew, but it was weird to just like get punched in the face with it, where I was just like, yo, if that kid was walking around today, that would be completely acceptable.
Bro, just wait. We're gonna get the revival of the hood era.
Disco's coming back
Coming
third
back.
time.
The hood revival will be coming soon. Once the laws get a little out of hand and everybody becomes a rebel again and says fuck the police again a little bit, it's starting already, kind of.
People start dressing like Shawn
Yeah,
Wayne
we're
from the
gonna
Wayans
start bringing
Brothers.
back our
Baggy-ass
oversized jeans and
super
like
tight shirt.
long t-shirts to the knees.
No, I remember he had like a vacuum tight shirt, but he had like the baggiest jeans.
Oh yeah, he had a super tight and long shirt.
Like, what are you wearing, bro?
Bro, as soon as that comes back, I got a whole other closet I gotta crack back open.
Oh man. Oh, dude, Jankos are coming back probably. Oh, that's
Parachute
awful.
pants.
Yo, right now,
Oh,
if you were to
God,
start wearing
UFOs.
Jenkos, you'd probably be just ahead of the wave and be thought of as like super swear to God. I swear.
No, I wouldn't because of
No,
my
I
age
think
and my
things
look.
are coming back.
Bro, with the beard and the hat, you could definitely pull off some Jenkos right now.
Some Jankos. Oh,
Especially with the sneakers you wear.
that's not. Yo, you
Slap. Slaps. Oh wait, it's 30 frames
That's
per
what's hitting
second.
on my
I gotta go
shoes,
slower.
man. Look, man.
Slap.
Just because I don't buy my own sneakers doesn't mean hurt my feelings.
Yeah, Jenkos right now would not be the wave just because everyone's wearing the joggers showing off the shoes. Nobody's trying to cover their shoes.
It's
Oh,
also
yeah.
I thought about it back then, like the baggy clothes era. It's just like it just wasn't practical. It was just like hanging off your back of your pants. You know, the boot cuts are going all the way, dragging. It's just not practical at all.
It was super
Oversized
practical.
t-shirt.
You just weren't applying it to the tactical applications that it demanded. You want to know why you wore baggy pants? So that you could put your gun in your waistline, so that you could carry bags of drugs in your pants and it's not visible when you're just standing around. Imagine trying to have a gun and a fucking bag of coke down your fucking thigh in some skinny jeans. Like,
You just see every outline like, oh man, I can see your serial number through your pants, bro.
You better put the safety on over there.
like, yo, let me get that dime bag, third one up on the left there. Looks very chunky through those jeans. But yeah, that was the application, bro. Baggy hoodies and shit, you know, like you could pack stuff underneath it. A bag filled with things. Ammo, a gun. It was very, I'm gonna be honest, it was very, very crime oriented.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe it's a good thing we got rid of that. People walking around with shotguns and shit in their pants.
They got rid of stop and frisk and then instead they put in skinny jeans.
Yeah, right. Like, it's cool.
It's cool. It's cool again, guys. It's cool.
So
They were like, yo, Diddy,
walk
Jay-Z,
around.
listen, you guys are rich and out of the streets now. Just make it cool to wear these things. And, you know, we'll give you a tax break. That's how it worked.
What I do want a new mansion.
How do you think I bought the color blue?
I bought the color blue.
Yo, I better change this before Jay-Z sues me.
Yeah, right. America. It was pretty good with the red, white, and blue. America. Oh, you got the whole party up.
Oh, we're gonna start having seizures. Yo, turn that shit off before it gets home, bro.
Whenever seizures happen, I always think of the Simpsons episode.
Fucked up, man.
I know.
I'm gonna show her this.
Bart
I know.
Simpson, he watches that cartoon. It gives you seizures. America.
America.
Or
Yeah,
if you open up
boy.
the light, be like red, white, blue. What y'all got planned for the rest of the day?
Today is
Okay.
lazy.
I gotta clean up. I gotta run some charges.
I gotta get a back workout in.
Gotta make phone calls.
Thinking about going for a bike ride.
Yo, where's my bike at, Al?
Oh, you want one?
You told
Yeah,
me
I've been
to get
telling
your bike, bro.
I got pictures for you.
Yo, I'm down. I just need a bike.
I got you. No, I
I'll
definitely
ride-
do.
I'll ride my
Yeah.
motorcycle out to you, and then I'll just like, you know, hold the bike on the
Right
side
back.
and ride it home.
Put on your back.
No, I'll just do the side by side, you know, like when we used to steal bicycles.
Yo, that's crazy. How you get a clutch?
Yeah, it's impossible. Bro, I've always thought about like on the bike, how do I get food to go and get a drink that comes with it? Because I can't take a drink. You know, there's nowhere to put it.
You got a cup holder, bro?
I've been trying to figure out a way to put a cup holder in, and the only person who I've seen who actually has a cup holder on their bike, there's two. There's one guy who has the back seat that he actually cut a hole out in and then like fabricated a small little, you know, spot where he puts his iced coffee when he goes to the store. But every time you lean the bike, you know, it does lean. I saw another dude who had one on his front windshield on the inside, just above his like handlebars, but it was like a cup holder with like a gyro. So the cup would always stay upright when he would lean.
That's mad cool.
Yeah, it didn't work perfectly, but still, it was like, I like where you're going here. This is fucking cool.
Well, either way, it's like, where would you drink it? Like, you're gonna drink it while riding? Like,
well, think about it like this. Like, just if I wanted to go get food, I can't get a Happy Meal with a drink.
in that case, yeah.
You know, if I want to go get an iced coffee, I got to drink it all before I get back on the bike. Can't bring it home. Or if I'm going for a long...
Just like pound your iced coffee, be like...
Yeah, right?
Slow down! I can't!
Mom,
I mean, I have a camel pack.
Dude.
I got the camel pack. Maybe I'll just start going to Starbucks and be like, hey, can you make my iced coffee inside of this?
Yeah. Maybe they will. Special Starbucks for motorcyclists.
Yeah.